This video is all about the design work that went into this apple. Why I made an apple, why there's a massive gaping hole in the side, you're about to find out. If you haven't seen how I made it, or you want to see that, that will follow on from this video. This was my first ever forged project. I literally just learnt how to use the forge. It's my technical diary here. We had to do like technical drawings and photos of it. Like, you basically had to explain every single thing that you'd learnt, like everything. And it is way more complicated than you can imagine. I never knew how much went into blacksmithing. It's crazy, bro, crazy, but very, very interesting. And let me tell you, if you ever have the chance to do any blacksmithing, to get into the forge and try it out, it's extremely hard work, it's very taxing, it's very tiring, it's very difficult, but what you can create is awesome. If you are a creative person, you will absolutely love it. Like, I'm blown away and I love it, and I need to create a larger shack so I can do metalwork in it. That's the plan. So quickly, I'm going to go over the design work. So the brief was food waste, research global food waste, political responses, demographics, historical perspectives, research the cack out of all of it, yeah? Use this research as a base, produce a design that reflects your emotional response, and then create a forged object from your designs. So I looked through tons and tons and tons of stats. I was like, oh my God, this is painful. This is so awful. Why? Why? I don't want to know about this. It's really sad. It took days and like, I don't know how long, but anyway. I noticed that thirds were mentioned over and over again. So 1/3 of all food is wasted. 3 million tonnes of bread thrown away in the EU annually. The food thrown away in Europe and North America would be enough to feed the hungry people in the world 3 times over. Third world countries, the worst affected, the poor people. Yeah, lots of thirds all the way throughout this research, which I thought maybe I can use that. And also noticed that apples were mentioned as one of the most wasted foods in the UK. So I was like, apples, thirds, don't know. Is that an emotional response, an apple? I don't know. How can I turn that into an emotional response? I don't know. So then I went through, I looked at us in Britain during the war with the ration books, where we were actually a lot more conscious of not wasting food. And, you'd starve if you wasted food. Everything was rationed. You couldn't just go and buy whatever you wanted. And I think, a lot less food was wasted. And they didn't care about wonky veg or food not looking quite right or sell-by dates or any of that. Food was there, you ate it or you went hungry. And I think that's the problem in first world countries these days, is everything's just there in front of you all the time. You haven't got to worry about it. You can just go and get whatever you want whenever you want. Some people don't have that luxury, especially in third world countries. So doing this research was actually quite scary and did give me an emotional response, which was the plan, I also looked at famine even further back in medieval times and realised that there's a cycle of starvation that never ends. Famine has always been prevalent in every age since man started recording time, which is quite scary. There's always famine somewhere. So thinking about apples and the thirds, I then printed off a picture of my Granny Smith apple, started thinking maybe I should do some more research into apples and how I could turn that into a symbol or a concept for this design. So I started thinking that, Granny Smiths, they're always very perfect, aren't they? They're just, you never see one that looks bruised or wrinkly or damaged, and maybe that's the problem, huh? Maybe they're throwing them all away, all the bad ones, and that's why they're the most thrown away fruit rather. So I thought if I can make this side absolutely perfect, the vision of perfection, and then the other side is the third missing, which signifies all my food research. And yeah, and then I had this idea. I thought I could call it ignorance is bliss, because you look at that side and you think, oh, it's so beautiful, it's a beautiful shiny apple, and then you say ba ba ba, that is the ugly truth, mate. Ignorance is bliss, isn't it? but there's actually no food left, and everything that is all kind of rotten and grubby and gross. So I did some more research into apple symbology of the apple, and realised, that obviously apples are major, big time in mythological stories. The Bible was like the major one, which I completely forgot about till I started looking into it. Apples were obviously the whole reason, well, Eve's temptation with the apple, were the reason that mankind were ejected from the Garden of Eden by gods. Like, that was our fall from grace. That was all because of an apple. So they are a symbolism for, throughout different stories, fairy tales, folklores and the Bible, they've been a symbolism for beauty, temptation, evil, sin. And as I read more, I thought, do you know what? Apple is the perfect thing to represent all of these feelings that I'm having, you know, my emotional response to global food hunger. So I wanted to create one side that was really pretty and shiny and beautiful, and kind of how we see food. And, you know, in the UK and first world country, when I say we, that's what I mean. We can just walk into a supermarket or a corner shop store or wherever. We've got food in our cupboards. There's an endless supply of food. Even if, you know, you kind of haven't got a great deal of money, in the UK you're always okay. You're always going to get fed pretty much. And so I wanted this to be, this side is kind of a symbolism for how we view our food in the UK and how we can have whatever we want, and we kind of brush under the carpet that we try not to think that, you know, maybe we're wasting food and other people are going hungry. So that's that side. Also, the symbol, for me, the image of the apple just screams like British. It's just British to me. I don't know about you. So that's kind of the UK, and then as you turn it around, obviously this is kind of globe-like in its shape as well, which worked well. As you turn it around, you see the ugly truth that actually it's not all singing and dancing. There's not enough food in the world. There's a third missing here, and in there, that is gnarled up, that is angry, that is gross and disgusting, and it's the ugly truth in there. And it's empty, and the food's running out, and like, take note, bro. So that is why there's a big hole missing in the side there, and that is my apple design project. So as I say, I forged this out of a flat piece of steel. The leaf is actually copper, and I made this all by my own. I'm actually really, really proud of it, and let me tell you, I did get a distinction for it. I can actually read you. Got my bit of paper here. If I can read the dude's handwriting, let me see. It says, the work submitted displays in-depth understanding and exploration, including thoughtful research. There is evidence of thoughtful organisation, structure and a high standard of presentation. The work shows evidence of high quality analysis, synthesis, evaluation and critical appraisal, along with consistent high levels of initiative, personal responsibility, decision making and achievement. Wow, thanks dude. So yeah, I got a distinction. This was my first ever college project. You're never too late to give it a go, guys. Keep watching for how I made this as the next video coming up.